Seeing you giving Jungkook a birthday present while smiling at him with those fucking eyes pissed Jungkook off. Seeing him almost kissing his angel last night pissed him off even more. Does he know why? Fuck no. Watching you hesitate after he asked if you liked Jungkook was the closest answer he could get to whatever the hell was going on. Your silence to his question only brought a heavy feeling in his chest. He stops himself from saying anything he will regret later as he pushes past your short frame, walking back towards the large room. Why the hell was he so mad? Jungkook grabbed another glass of whiskey, downing the liquid as he watched Jungkook and his parents talking with the Ranfold family and their daughter. A part of him was hoping it was a business marriage request so he would stay away from his angel, but the angry look on the girl's face told him she wanted nothing to do with him. Jungkook ignores any voices coming towards his wife while he walks towards the door to leave. He had enough of hearing forced conversations from people who only wanted gossips and money. Already leaving without saying hi to me. A voice speaks up from behind him, forcing its way into his ears. Jungkook stopped in his tracks, feeling his jaw clench as he looked down at her hand on his arm. Jungkook ripped away from her grip before turning around, looking back at the woman who was now shorter than him since the last time he had seen her. You have gotten even more handsome, she smiled, taking a couple of steps closer to him. It seems our history turned you into a stronger man, hmm? She whispered, putting her hand on his chest. Jungkook didn't say anything. For a long time, he thought all he would feel would be anger. When he would see her again, he felt nothing. Jungkook just watched the same woman who took something from him. He will never get back. Aren't you going to say something? Jungkook grabs her hair, watching as her eyes nearly popped out from the sudden force. I'm not a kid anymore. He scolded, ignoring the groaning crowd as he tightened his hands on her. She looked at him, no fear showing in her eyes. They will never believe you. She smiled again. Jungkook furrowed his eyebrows together before his fist goes straight for her face. Jungkook could feel each punch getting harder. The sound of her screaming brings satisfaction to his ears. He doesn't hear anyone else around him. All he hears is the terrible memories replaying in his head as he continuously punched her. He wanted to see her in pain as he shot a bullet through her body for every time it happened. Before he can bring out his gun to her head, he feels himself being pushed off of her. He knew Jungkook was yelling at him. He couldn't hear him though. Whatever he said goes straight past his ears as Jungkook looks at the sight in front of him. His eyes are stuck on the woman who was now on the ground, her hand holding a towel to her bloody face. There are multiple people surrounding her, helping her. Jungkook's eyes move around the place as he watched everyone look at the woman with pity. He looked at the blood on his hands, a sinking feeling setting in his heart. Why the fuck are they helping her? Jungkook saw the part of him he would never get back every time his eyes shifted towards her, and the same feeling of being trapped lingers in his head. They will never believe you. Jungkook pushed past every person in his way as he goes towards the door. He slams it open as he walks outside, his keys in his hand as he walks towards the car. The feeling of a small hand tugging at his sleeves stopped him when he made it to the door of his car. He is about to push the fucker off until he realizes he is looking down at his angel. Your breaths are heavy as you finally reach for the door, feeling the cold air hit your cheeks as you look for Jungkook. You could see every release of breath coming from your mouth slowly disappears in the air as you move your eyes in every direction he could have gone. You don't even think as your legs starts running towards the driveway when you see Jungkook walking up to the black Ferrari. Before he is able to open the door, you run up half out of breath as you grab his sleeves and gently tug on it. You didn't know any other way to get his attention, mainly because you couldn't think of any words to tell him. You were too busy making sure he hadn't left alone. You shrugged away any thoughts in your head as you look up at Jungkook, searching his confused eyes that carefully watched you. You had no idea what happened between Jungkook and that woman. His reaction to His reaction to her was all you needed, though, to notice something was off. It was a reaction you had been too familiar with not to notice. "What are you doing?" he asked coldly, catching you off guard. You let go of his sleeves, nervously playing with your fingers as you feel him only growing more impatient. Jungkook looks down at your hands before a sigh leaves his mouth. "Go back inside," he said before opening the door of the car. Not even thinking, you push yourself towards Jungkook is back now towards you as he is about to get into the car. Your arms move between his own as you wrap him in a tight hug, resting your head on his back. Simple, back hugging him. "No," you mumbled, feeling his body tense up beneath you. You knew if you let him get in that car alone, he would do something stupid again. He would probably get into another fight, drink too much, or drive at dangerous speed. "Is this what you followed me for?" he asked slowly. You bite your lip nervously before pulling out of the hug. Jungkook turns around, looking down at you curiously. "Take me with you," you mumble out under your breath, hugging his arms to your chest nervously. It's quiet for a moment, and you were sure he would say no. Why would he want you near him anyway? "Get in," he said, causing your head to pop up in surprise. Jungkook was already in the driver's side with the car on. You finally move from your spot, walking towards the passenger side. You try your best to ignore his eyes while you walk around the car. He is silent during the drive as you both pass through the city, which was even prettier at night, lights lining every street. You look towards Jungkook, who had one hand on the steering wheel and an empty look in his eyes as he drove down the busy roads. He didn't speed once. Your head turns back towards the window, holding down the button as you let the cool air enter the car and hit your skin. Your head spins with thoughts, wondering who that woman was and what she would done to Jungkook to get him so mad. You unconsciously let your hand rest outside of the window, liking the feeling of the wind moving past your hand. You still had his present in your pocket. Your body shifts in your seat when you feel his eyes on you all of a sudden. You sit back in your seat, closing the window when the wind starts to make you feel too cold. The city lights were slowly fading away now as Jungkook continued to drive down the road. You look out of the window confused as he drove towards the middle of nowhere. "Where are we going?" you asked, breaking the silence as you turned back towards him. "He wouldn't murder you, would he?" Jungkook didn't answer your question. You take your time to look at him closer this time, watching as his dark brown eyes shone through the moonlight, how his dark black hair messily covered his head and his jaw tense. His eyes turn towards you when you are staring at him. You quickly look away, feeling your face flush red as you look back towards the window. All you could see were large fields, trees and deer watching signs. You follow your eyebrows together when Jungkook pulls over to the side of the road next to a large cornfield. You know this is usually where people get murdered in horror movies. You choke out as you look out at the dark field through the glass window. Why did you follow me out? Jungkook asked, his eyes on you. The car was off now and all you could hear the sound of the crickets chirping outside. You sighed, looking out in front of you. That moment, it looked like she hurt you more than you hurt her. I couldn't just leave you alone. You muttered, his cold eyes now softened as he watched you carefully. What makes you think that? He questioned. He looked confused, like no one had ever noticed before. I saw it in your eyes, you said quietly, thinking you sounded stupid. It's silent as Jungkook searches your face until you clear your throat, adjusting in your seat so you won't be close to him. Your hand reaches into your pocket as you pull the small gift out. You hold it tightly in your hand, hesitating on whether you should give it to him or not. I got you a present. You mumble, watching as Jungkook's eyes trail down to your lap where your hand had been holding the gift. You did? He replied deeply. You nod your head, trying to avoid eye contact with him. That fails when Jungkook moved his head to the side, following your eyes, so you were forced to look at each other now. Are you nervous? Jungkook asked, a small smile on his face. You feel your face burn red as you turn your head towards him. No, I'm not. You lied, holding the whole braided bracelet out to Jungkook. It was a yellow color, the kind that reminds you of the sun. Jungkook looks down at the bracelet, taking it in his hand before looking up at you with the same look in his eyes that made your heart races every time. Stop looking at me like that, you mumble under your breath. Like what? He said deeply. You swallow the lump in your throat before taking the bracelet from his hand and untying it so you can wrap it around his wrist. It's a good luck bracelet, you muttered, ignoring what he said as you move closer so you can tie the bracelet around his wrist. You feel his dark eyes on you the entire time you were adjusting the bracelet as you try to control your heart race. There you go. Now you will have good luck forever. You smiled as you finished tying the string together. Your body tensed when you suddenly feel Jungkook's hand slowly moves onto the side of your face, his thumb pushing a piece of your hair away. You slowly look up through your lashes, feeling like your body had been set on fire. As Jungkook looked down at you, your heartbeat increases terribly fast when his face comes closer to yours, his nose touching your own as you feel his minty breath only inches from your lips. What are you doing to me, Angel? I can't describe this feeling. He mumbled under his breath, and the tension could probably be felt from a mile away as his lips hover over your own. You feel a shiver run through your body when his lips suddenly come onto your own, closing the distance as he kisses you softly. A swarm of butterflies fill your stomach at the sudden touch, your lips moving on their own as you kiss him back. It felt like you were high on some drug, expecting it was just Jungkook's touch. A sound nearly escaped your mouth when Jungkook's hand moves down from the side of your face to wrap around your neck, pulling you even closer. The kiss gets deeper when you feel his tongue force its way into your mouth, fighting with your own. Your breaths are heavy when he pulls away from your lips, looking up at you with a smirk. You knew you probably looked as red as a tomato by now. You gasped when his lips suddenly moved onto your jaw, trailing down your neck. A shiver runs down your body when he tugs your hair back so your neck is more exposed. You feel his tongue move onto the sensitive spot between your neck and collarbone, a breathy gasp leaving your mouth at the sudden feeling. Keep doing that. You breath out, looking at Jungkook confused when he stops. Doing what? He teases on purpose, looking down at you. Touching me? You said shamelessly, watching as his brown eyes darken in the bit of moonlight that lit up the car. A gasp leaves your mouth when Jungkook effortlessly pulls you over to the driver's seat on his lap. His lips are suddenly back on your own, this time even harder. You feel your hands twisting around his shirt as you pull yourself closer to his body. Fuck, he groaned when you accidentally push yourself against the bulge. Oddly, it felt nice. Jungkook seems like it too. Was you doing the right thing? He pushes his lips back on your own as you feel his hands trailing down your body. A gasp leaves your mouth when his rough hands are suddenly on your hips, pushing you up against his bulge again. His lips leave trails of hot kisses down to your neck as you move your hands into his dark hair, not really knowing what this odd feeling was. Jungkook's hand trail under your shirt, moving up your bare skin until he stops right under your bra. His lips find your own again as you move your body closer to his own, causing a groan to leave his mouth. The sound of a phone ring suddenly reaches your ears. Jungkook ignores the call until the person calls again. He pulls away from you, an annoyed look on his face as he looks for his phone. You look down at his pants pocket, holding the phone, and move your hand down to grab it. You feel Jungkook's dark eyes on you as he watched you take the phone out from his front pocket. In his body tensed. His body tensed under you. Your breath hissed at the large bulge showing through his pants right next to where you was taking his phone out of. You feel the embarrassment only now reach your head as your face is flushed red. You push the phone into Jungkook's hand quickly, getting off of his lap and back into your seat. You sit there frozen in your spot as he answers the call. You were stuck with thoughts of what just happened, wondering what has gotten into you, and for the first time the thought came across your head. Do you like Jungkook? How could you even speak to him normally again after what happened?